And it's starting to get pretty warm out there. 78 degrees right now. Dew point into the mid 60s. It is feeling a little soupy out there, and it will stay that way through this afternoon. It feels like 80 with the heat index in Des Moines, 83 our heat index in Creston. We actually have low to mid 80 temperatures out west near Sioux City and Council Bluffs. The heat index likely to climb to the 90s for a lot of us later on this afternoon. Our actual temperature might get to the low 90s in Des Moines as well. Forecast high here in Des Moines is 91 degrees. Our record high for today is 94 degrees, set all the way back in 1895. So we might get awfully close to that record high later on this afternoon and early this evening. We're all dry across Iowa right now. We've had a mix of sun and clouds out there. We're going to stay dry this afternoon. So if you have outdoor plans, while it is going to be hot, you are likely to stay dry. There is some stormy weather in Minnesota near the warm front of this system. This front right here is going to drift our way later today, and out ahead of it, all these bright colors you see are the basically the thunderstorm energy in the atmosphere to give us fuel for those storms, and it's going to be on the higher end of the scale later this afternoon and this evening. The question is, will we get a storm to develop and take advantage of that fuel in the first place? Many models say yes, at least isolated storms will pop up later on this evening, but one reason we're not completely sure is we have what is called a cap in place. That's basically a warm layer of air above the ground that prevents storms from rising and developing in the first place. And that's what's going to keep us dry this afternoon. The question is, are we going to break through that cap? Are we going to see that weaken later this evening? There is a possibility of that, and that's probably most likely to occur in the yellow highlighted area here in northeast Iowa, where a level 2 out of 5 risk has been issued by the Storm Prediction Center. Many of us in central Iowa just under that level 1 risk because there is that uncertainty of if the cap will break or not. If we do see storms fire up here, there is going to be a severe weather threat, especially in the evening hours. The primary concern is going to be large hail, but we could see a couple tornadoes. Damaging wind and flash flooding are all a possibility, but it's just not guaranteed that we see the storms firing up in the first place. So we call this a conditional threat for severe weather. We're completely dry this afternoon, but starting around 7 or 8, it is possible we see some isolated storms fire up. If these develop, they could become severe pretty quickly, so definitely need to pay attention to the weather this evening. Again, it's northeast Iowa that probably has the best chance at storms, but maybe as we head into the late evening, we do eventually get some storms to develop farther to the south and west. If you're in northwest Iowa, there is a pretty good chance that you will end up avoiding these storms altogether in the first place. Now, we're not going to see widespread heavy rain out of this, but there could be some pockets of over 1 inch of rainfall where those storms do develop. Areas like Story County, Marshall County, you had a lot of rain yesterday, so if you happen to get another big storm over your area later on this evening, it's possible there will be some isolated flash flood issues. Many of us will be dry through the middle of this week. Our next good chance at showers and storms will be Friday into Saturday, and we'll show you that here on the Holt Plumbing and Heating 10-day forecast. Yeah, we have a pretty hot stretch heading our way. We'll probably dip back to the 80s tomorrow, but another round of low 90s on Wednesday and Thursday. The humidity is going to stick around the next several days, and then it will feel more like spring by the weekend and the first half of next week.